B Marsh Boxing back at it one more again. B Marsh Boxing back at it one more time. You know what I mean? Back at it with another boxing video. Man, I remember some point in time last year, right? What are we in 2018? 2017. 2017, I made a video. All somebody already hit the motherfucking thumbs up. Big ups to y'all, man. Big ups to y'all. I just came in this piece and y'all hit the thumbs up. I appreciate you. But anyways, I made a video last year at some point in time, and I made the video. I said Errol Spence Errol Spence newfound fans. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, Errol Spence at some point in time last year, he had a kind of new fans. Everybody was Errol Spence. Whoa, Errol Spence, that's my guy. That's my favorite fighter. But I made that video saying Errol Spence new fans. Well, once upon a time, Keith Thurman lovers, you know what I mean? And that's straight up and down the facts about what it is, you know? And shit, man. Now come 2018, these fans be so fickle. Whoa, these fans be so fickle, man. Don't even make no sense, you know what I mean? Fellas might as well start calling their pages fan pages, you know what I mean? Not even fanboy pages, because, you know, some people take offense to being called a fanboy, you know what I mean? So, you know, fellas be calling them, might as well call it they channels fans, fan pages. You know what I mean? Like how on Twitter they might be. I don't know who's a pop. Beyonce. Beyonce gonna have a fan page ran by strictly the fans. You know what I mean? Some of these YouTube channels out here they like fan pages. You know what I mean? Now all of a sudden. Errol Spence now is ducking, you know what I'm saying? Errol Spence is now ducking Terrence Crawford. Now niggas throwing dirt on the man Errol Spence name, you know what I mean? 2 weeks ago, mind you, they was throwing dirt on the man Terrence Crawford name. You know what I'm saying? That's why, you know, I said it numerous times, man. I'm not down with that fanboy shit, man. I don't listen to a lot of boxing channels over here on YouTube. Like I said, you know who you are if when I listen to y'all, you know what I mean? I leave comments and whatnot, you know, but for the most part, a lot of people out here they got an agenda. And what's disgusting about it is how they trying to pit two brothers against each other, Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford, and that's well and fine. I'd love to see the fight. You know what I mean? I'm not into that. Marinate, wait for this, that. No, no, sir. You know what I mean? Fuck that. These fellas need to fight now. But the sad part about it is, fellas is making up lies. You know what I mean? They making up lies talking about this fighter didn't do this fighter did that, and you know, to suit their agenda. You know what I'm saying? And that's the sad part about it. You know what I mean? 2 weeks ago, fellas was throwing mad dirt on the man Terrence Crawford name before and after the Benavidez fight, but this week it's all about tearing Errol Spence a new one. You know what I mean? Well, you know, that's y'all motherfuckers' fault. You know what I'm saying? That's y'all motherfuckers' fault. You guys came on the scene trying to talk about this guy's a beast, right? Y'all fellas talked about Errol Spence a beast, and I'm a fan of Errol Spence, and I'm a fan of Terrence Crawford. You know what I mean? I ain't no fanboy because at the end of the day, I'm a boxing fan before them two. You know what I mean? I was on the scene watching boxing before I'd even ever heard of Errol Spence and Terrence Bud Crawford. But I definitely know all y'all Errol Spence fanboys and Terrence Crawford fanboys. Y'all fellas just got on the scene the other day. You know what I mean? I was down with Bud Crawford when the man had dreadlocks. You know what I mean? I was on the seat watching the man from long time. Errol Spence been seen him from the Olympics. You know what I mean? I could even tell you who he lost to in the Olympics. Can you Errol Spence fanboys do that? You know what I'm saying? Fellas is not, you know, that's that shit I don't like, man. Like Chief Keef, man. That's that shit I don't like. A fanboy, that's that shit I don't like. A, uh, um, a fickle nigga, that's that shit I don't like. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, man. Fellas over here, they rode that Errol Spence bandwagon till the wheels fell off. You know what I mean? And I'm just gonna come up with solutions so y'all could shut the fuck up, straight up. You know what I mean? Because you guys did this to yourselves. First and foremost, I'd have to go back to last year. I seen these fanboy pages, man, straight up, man. When the motherfucker Keith Thurman was fighting, they was in love with the guy. When Errol Spence came to, I'm sorry, Keith Thurman came to fight at the Barclays Center. You know what I'm saying? For at least two fights where there was Danny Garcia, Keith, or Sean Porter, fellas was in love with him. But now if you flip the script, if you look at these fellas' videos in the last, I don't know, 9 months, 10 months, you would have never thought they was even Keith Thurman fans. You know what I mean? They was now they all Errol Spence. Errol Spence is my guy. Errol Spence is the truth. Errol Spence a beast. Errol Spence a beast. Prove it, man. Prove it. You know what I'm saying? The man isn't trying to fight the man Terrence Crawford no time soon. The man talking about sometime late 2019. You know what I mean? That's what he's talking about. He's talking about he's the A side. In what world is Errol Spence the A side when Terrence Bud Crawford is a three different division champion and a two-time lineal champion in two of those three divisions? You check it. The man Terrence Crawford is what? WBO 135. He got four belts at 140. That's five total. Then he got, what's that? One, yeah, five total. Then he got one at 147. In what world is a one-time champion in one division never ever been unified? In what world is he the A side? You know what I mean? You know, the man Errol Spence, man, y'all fellas did this to him, man. You check it. Look at how the man switched up his demeanor, dogs. You see him how he was looking up there at the Sean Porter Keith Thurman fight. You know what I'm saying? Like I said in my previous videos, man, you could wear your shines all you want. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? God blessed you to rock all kind of shines. Give thanks. You know what I mean? All the African kings was wearing and still are wearing gold till today. Go look at YouTube. Go look at Kingdoms of Mali. You see women draped with gold. I'm talking about in their ears and even just all kind of gold. Gold dug straight from the dirt. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing wrong with rocking your shines. You know what I mean? But I ain't never seen Errol Spence rocking that kind of jewelry before. You know what I'm saying? And his demeanor changed. This guy's a professional athlete, but son was there with Adrian Broner, Jamal Charlos and the Charlo twins, and Javante Davis. They was bent, you know what I'm saying? Drunk as a skunk, you know what I mean? They was bent, you know what I mean? Like a fish out of water. You check it. So, that's not a good look for the man Errol Spence, you know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, the man is such a guy. If he wanted to fight the man Terrence Crawford, you know what I'm saying? Why he couldn't show up to Oklahoma? You know what I mean? Is it Oklahoma? Where's the man from? Nebraska, excuse me. Why he couldn't show up to Nebraska ringside to watch the man Terrence Crawford versus Benavidez? You know what I mean? Yeah, he ain't part of ESPN, Top Rank, or Bob Arum's outfit. But would it hurt? The man got paper, right? I mean, he got paid $3 million to fight Lamont Peterson. And by the way, that's a good victory for him. You know what I mean? Don't. No, there's a lot of people trying to downplay that W from the man. What's it? Errol Spence versus Lamont Peterson. I'm not. Peterson is a formidable opponent, and he's a good opponent for any champion. He's a former champion himself. You know what I mean? Check it. He's a guy who's gonna make you earn yours. You know what I mean? And Errol Spence was just a better man on the night, and he's a very good fighter. Like I said, I'm a fan of Errol Spence, but I'm not a fan of no fanboys who gas and putting a battery in son's back. Now son done forgot who he is. You know what I mean? You check it. And fellas, people trying to do the blame game. And what kills me over here on these YouTube streets, some motherfuckers only show up when it's time to shit on Errol Spence and when it's time to shit on Terrence Crawford. And I don't get involved in them kind of topics, hangouts, conversations. That's out. You know what I mean? Boxing is a bigger. I have a bigger Heinz view of boxing. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't revolve just around them two fighters, just like it doesn't revolve around what is his name? Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about AJ and Wilder, but for Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence, they're fellas who only show up on hangouts on YouTube. You only hear their voice or pop up, whether you see their face, whatever the case may be. They only pop up when it's time for you know what I'm saying, for put my notifications off, man, before I blow people's ears up. They only show up when it's time to diss Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? Talking about Errol Spence, big nipples. Talking about Errol Spence isn't enrolled in VADA. You know what I'm saying? Trying to insinuate the man is on steroids. Well, you're just talking that nut ass shit. Prove that shit. You know what I mean? Prove that shit. You check it? Just like fellas was talking stupid shit about Pacquiao being on the roids. You know what I mean? You got to prove it before you jump out the window. And believe you me, there's various um, organizations out there from VADA to WADA to USADA, whatever the fuck the case may be. There's a lot of organizations out there that will catch these fighters if they are juicing, you know what I'm saying? And the fellas, to me, I never bought into that theory, you know what I'm saying? I never even got into the whole Juan Manuel Marquez being on steroids when he fought Pacquiao. Yeah, the guy was bigger than I've ever seen him at the age of 40 or late 30s, you know what I mean? And the guy who, you know what I'm saying? He had the kind of symptoms, but it is what it is. You check it. He was never caught cheating. I don't know if he ever did. All I know is that the man drank his own urine. That about it. You know what I'm saying? But Errol Spence. Now I'm seeing a lot of his fanatics. They kind of now trying to protect themselves. You know what I mean? They're trying to keep themselves in a safety net. You know what I'm saying? A false sense of security now that the fact that that the man Errol Spence is looking like a coward on these YouTube streets. You know what I mean? On these boxing streets, you check it, and it's like I said, you guys did this to him. You know what I mean? And I got some solutions for the guy. You check it, fellas. Talking about it's Spence don't want to fight. I'm sorry, Porter don't want to fight him. Keith Thurman, he don't even want to box if the man Errol Spence is in the same division. Well, guess what, man? What the man don't gotta stay at 147 forever. And I'm not saying he gotta drop his belt and go to 154, but there are other challenges out there. Y'all motherfuckers claim he a beast, right? You check it, yeah. He went to England. He beat Kell Brook, no question about it. I love that victory. You know what I mean? Took big balls to do that. You check it. But how comes y'all fellas ain't mentioning the man can move up? Y'all fellas was on Triple G's neck to move up and fight guys like Andre Ward, right? Yeah, y'all remember that, right? I wanted that too. Sure, you know what I'm saying? If fellas ain't getting the fights that they want at middleweight, like Triple G was claiming, then go up, you know what I'm saying? Go up and face somebody in a different division. Win, lose, or draw, you can still come back to your division, you know what I mean? Unless your name is Rigondeaux, then they gonna fuck you all around, you know what I'm saying? They gonna do you greasy, you know what I mean? Unless your name is Rigondeaux. Otherwise, if you ain't Rigondeaux, you can still come back and defend your title, you know what I'm saying? Hey, check it. I could go back in history of a lot of fellas who've moved up from welterweight, you know what I'm saying, to go challenge themselves. Unlike the man Errol Spence and unlike his fanboys are not even don't want they not even suggesting he should do that, you know what I mean? I'm here, I'm a problem solver in real life, you know what I mean? That's what I like to do, you know what I'm saying? I like to tackle issues and find a resolution to a problem, you know what I'm saying? And your man Errol Spence is not in the clear with me, you know what I mean? Because man, I've been watching boxing from a long time, dogs, and there's a lot of fighters that the man could go up there and fight. You check it, and if you don't like that, then too bad for you. You might as well cut the video off, man, because what I'm about to say is the truth, and the truth hurts. You know what I mean? I go back to fellas like Mel Griffin. And Mel Griffin, you know what I'm saying? Them fellas went up as a middleweight, as a welterweight champion. You check it, and he went up and fought Dick Tiger. You know what I'm saying? Dick Tiger was the undisputed middleweight champion. You know what I mean? You think Errol Spence would even go up to middleweight right now, let alone junior middleweight? Nah, we not even going to mention middleweight for him. Just go up to motherfucking just go up to the to middleweight. You know, I'm sorry, junior middleweight. You know what I mean? There's plenty of fights that could be made up there. You know what I mean? There's plenty of fights. You check it. And Mel Griffin did it. You know what I mean? He went up and fought the great big Dick Tiger, Hall of Famer. Both guys are Hall of Famers. Look how old these guys, Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence are, and yet they yet to have that legacy signature fight. Go look at Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather's resumes and how old they were when they was taking crucial big time fights. You know what I mean? Big legacy fights. I mean, look at even Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao beat Miguel Cotto. A lot of motherfuckers thought Miguel Cotto was going to ice him. Actually, it was the other way around. Only thing I didn't like too much was the stoppage in the 12th round, but it is what it is. He beat the shit out of Cotto, and there ain't nothing. There's no coming back from that. There's no denying that. What the man do next? He went up to 154. Sure enough, it was at a catchweight fighting with Miguel, what's his name, Antonio Margarito, and he beat the shit out of him, man. The man broke his eye socket and all that. You know what I mean? The smaller Pacquiao, go look at that fight and look at the size differential from them two guys. Pacquiao had the balls to step up to 154, and like I said, it was at a catchweight for 150, because even the man Margarito was in a bona fide 154 pounder. You know what I mean? And he beat him. Excuse me, he beat him, you know what I'm saying? Even guys like Marlon Starling, you know what I'm saying? WBA champion, you know what I mean? or was he WBC at the time? I think it was WBC. He had beat Lloyd Hunnigan. He beat thrashed Lloyd Hunnigan. What'd he do? He challenged himself. He ain't even go up to motherfucking junior middleweight, dogs. The man went up straight straight to middleweight to challenge none other than who? Than Michael Nunn. Why the man Errol Spence can't do that? You know what I mean? Y'all fellas claim the man is such a beast. You check it, you know, then why not go up there and challenge these guys? You know what I'm saying? Challenge, and fuck that. No, we're not talking about fighting guys like Willie Nelson. If the man is such a beast, go get yourself a belt. I even seen Sugar Ray Leonard, you know what I'm saying? After the Tommy Hearns fight, the undisputed champion at 147, he went up to 154 and fought Ayub Kalule. Ayub Kalule gave him a little trouble, but the man Ray Leonard, to me, one of the best finishers I've ever seen, especially at the welterweight. What'd he do? He iced the man. You know what I'm saying? He knocked him out. He stopped him. You check it? And that stuff, Errol Spence, I don't think that's in his DNA. You know what I mean? And that's because of y'all fellas. Y'all fellas did this to him. Let me see what fellas saying in the chat. Mike D in the chat was good, son. He says, yo, B. Marsh, I was never on the Errol Spence Jr. hype train. Excuse me. I can't say I was a bandwagon fanboy because I've been watching the guy since before he was a pro. So I was happy to see his progression. You know what I mean? Getting them fights when he iced out Bundle in front of 6 million people on NBC in the afternoon. Um, when he fought guys like Algieri, you know what I mean? And when he fought Kell Brook, I was happy for the guy. But it's his fans who I'm really referring to. They the ones who claim this guy was a monster. This guy was untouchable. If he's so untouchable, why doesn't he get a reality check and realize he's not the A side fucking with Bud? You know what I'm saying? Go ahead. Bob Av said they could make that fight happen in 3 hours. Okay, do that. Errol Spence, get in the negotiation room, make it happen. Go fuck around and fight the man on ESPN. You're gonna get more views. That fight's gonna get more views on ESPN than it will Showtime. And I'm not down with, oh, it needs to be on this channel. Nah, man, I don't give a fuck what channel boxing's on. I watch boxing on my local channel, Fox 5 News, CNN, Disney Channel. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? The Food Network with Rachel Ray. You know what I'm saying? I don't care what channel boxing's on. Just these fellas need to fight. And if the man is such a beast, go beat the man Errol Spence on his own platform on ESPN, snatch his belt, go back to Showtime and sit pretty with the PBC. You know what I mean? Mike D says, wasn't it a Kazakhstan dude or something? Nah, it was actually a guy named Mohammed Rabi. He was a guy from Morocco who beat Errol Spence in the Olympics. Okay, Mike D says, I'll be at work. I have to check in on the live stream, bro. Well, I appreciate you checking in on your while you're on your job, son. I appreciate that. You know what I mean? Mr. Doc was good, man. How you feeling, man? Mr. Doc says both of these guys are starting to irritate me. SMH. I don't like Spence saying I'll fight him on my time. Bud is in his 30s, and Crawford needs to be going after Porter Garcia and Thurman. Yeah, those guys don't want to fight him. Sean Porter wants to fight guys like Andre Berto rematch and Riverside Rocky, and so does Errol Spence. That's who he wants to fight: Andre Berto, Devin Alexander's, Victor Ortiz's. Yeah, because Sean Porter is not trying to fight him, so he's trying to fight the same type of fighter Sean Porter want to fight. Mr. Doc says to cut Spence off at the pass. You're right about that, but those guys they don't want to fight the man. You know what I mean? Mm, Mike D says Spence can move up. No question about it. He can move up. No question. That's what this whole video is about. I'm giving solutions. I'm a problem solver in real life. You know what I'm saying? I help people out in many situations. You know what I'm saying? And I'm trying to even get better at it. But, Mr. He definitely can move up. Mr. Doc says, good point, B. Marsh. Spence has said more than once he'd fight Golovkin at 160, so 154 shouldn't be a problem. Yeah, he said he'll fight Golovkin and Cannoli at 160, so 154 should not be a problem. And there's guys in on the PBC side that he could fight. You know what I mean? Mike D says Tiger was a beast. Just watch his fight with Giro something. Yeah, you mean Joey Girardello. Yeah, Joey Girardello, the Italian guy. You know what I mean? I'm actually gonna make a video about Joey Giardello in the near future. I don't know when. When I get time, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I gotta sit down and make time like I'm doing now before I get to running my morning errands, you know what I mean? And I got two errands to run. Okay? Um uh Mr. Doc says, yep, and Dick Tiger himself moved up to 175, didn't he? No doubt about it. He went up and beat Jose Torres, light heavyweight undisputed champion, you know what I mean? Got trained by Cus D'Amato. Yes indeed. Mike D, the so-called yeah, Doc is say Giardello, yeah, he's showing him as Giardello. Mike D says, I think Italian dude, I think had a couple hours with the man. Yeah, you're talking about Giardello. Um, Mr. Doc says, yeah, I believe so. Mr. Doc says, LOL, boxing on Food Network. I remember Rachel Ray. Yeah, man, Rachel Ray, man, she can whip up a nice dish, man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, those guys could box on that channel. They could box on Nickelodeon. You know what I'm saying? They could box on the home shopping network for all I care. You know what I mean? Okay, Fox Strikes. What's happening, Fox? He says Spence said himself that he rehydrates up in his late 160s. So why 154 in his thing? Yeah, man, 154 is where the man needs to go right now. The man was trying to entertain Mikey Garcia coming up from lightweight, which didn't make no sense to me. I'm glad Mikey Garcia's family members talked him up out of it. But Errol Spence could move up to 154. He could go ahead and fight somebody up there at 154, you know what I mean? He could fight a champion and not no tune-up fighting Willie Nelson. No, if the man is such a beast like y'all fellas claim he is, and I think he's a good fighter, but he's not acting like one now. He's actually acting like a diva. He's acting like a diva. The man was so bent the other night. He was talking about the last time he lost was in 2015. You know what I'm saying? And he kept reiterating and repeating that. He was so bent he ain't even know what he was talking about. You know what I mean? You check it. Man, even Jose Napoles, man. Jose Napoles went up to 160 pounds and fought Carlos Monzon. He got stopped. Guess what? He challenged himself. There was nothing left for him to do at 147, or he was beating up everybody. Montequia was like that. And he said, what? You know what? I'll go up to 160 and challenge Carlos Monzon. He lost. He got stopped, and he came back down to 150, 147. You know what I mean? You check it. So that's what we're not gonna do, man. Even Floyd Mayweather, he went up to 154, beat De La Hoya at his own weight, no catch weight, nothing. You know what I'm saying? These are things that great fighters have done, and fellas like Floyd Pacquiao, all these guys were doing that before they were even in their 30s. You know what I mean? What has this guy Spence done for y'all fellas to claim the man is a beast like that when the man is not even trying to go challenge himself to unify belts? Or try to get a belt at 154. You know what I mean? Come on, man. Even Corey Spinks, man, he was what? Corey Spinks was a champion at 154, different division, but he went up to 160 to face what's that guy? That guy from Arkansas with the brain bleed. Jermaine Taylor, you know what I'm saying? In a close fight, which I thought he won, you know what I mean? So, guys have done this. Everybody except the man Errol Spence, like it's not even in his, he's not even doesn't even look like he's even thinking about that. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm talking about, man. Y'all fellas going, I'm gonna pull your whole card early. You keep talking about Errol Spence a beast, and I'm a fan of Errol Spence. You know what I mean? But I'm a fan of boxing at the end of the day, and I ain't a fan of fanboy fan pages. You know what I'm saying? Who 12 months ago there was riding Keith Thurman's nuts. You know what I'm saying? They probably wanted to braid his hair on fight night. You know what I mean? You check it. So fellas they be talking all kind of stuff about guys that are beasts and that. I don't know about that. The guys I mentioned, I consider those guys monsters because you know what? These guys ain't getting the fights, or they've probably conquered their division at 147, and they challenged themselves. You know what I mean? And there's numerous guys to fight. The man could even fight. You know what he could do? He could fight Jamel Charlo. Try to get his WBC belt. You spar with the guy, right? I hear so. From Errol Spence fans, I'm never in the gym, so I can't tell. I can't call it. But they say he be giving Jamel Charlo work. Then you know what? Say, fuck that. I'm going to fight Jamel Charlo. Let's do this. What Jamel Charlo going to say? Hey, man, come on, dog. We friends. Errol Spence should be like, fuck that, man. We friends, yeah, but we could do this, dogs. You know what I'm saying? Maurice Blocker and Simon Brown were best friends. You know what I'm saying? From the D.C. area, from Washington, D.C. Guess what? These fellas fought for unification. They both have belts. Let's do this. You know what I mean? IBF, WBC, 147-pound title. Let's do this. And they did it. And Simon Brown beat up Maurice Blocker and he picked him up after the fight. Even when he dropped him and knocked him down, he wanted to pick him up because that's his man's. But at the end of the day, it's boxing. You know what I'm saying? The fellas ain't trying to fight each other. These two guys could put up their belts or Jamel or put the friendship aside and fight each other, you know what I mean? And that's all I'm talking about over here. Um See what fellas saying in the chat. Mike D says 147 is the Diva division, man. 147 been a Diva division when Floyd was there too. Straight up. The fellas wasn't fighting each other. And that was 2012, 2013, we're in 2018. Same thing going on today. Fox Strike says, I wonder Spence Hurd would play out. Yeah, I'd love to see that fight. Sure, man. That's a great fight. Two come forward fighters. That's two belts opportunities for two straps the man could snatch off for Hurd. If he can beat Hurd, you know what I mean? Mike D says Hurd will stop him. Possibly. Got to see the fight. Late round stoppage. Possibly. Mike D says, excuse me, Mr. Doc says Spence versus Hurd will be a demolition derby. Whichever way it went, it wouldn't go 12. Yeah, man, I'd love to see that fight, man. Hurd is the champ the American public needs, man. I can't say this enough. And he was at the fight with Sean Porter and Danny Garcia with his crew from PG County, Maryland, and they was just chilly chill. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't on causing commotion, no acting a fool or none of that. They was just in the building chilling, man. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? Um, Larry, I said Larry. Jared Hurd has two belts. He's a unified champ, unlike all those other guys from Javante Davis, who ain't even a real champ. Adrian Broner, who's not even a champ. Jamel Charlo, who's a champ who fights a bunch of Jared Hurd's leftovers. And Jamal Charlo, a guy I'd like to see him get the opportunity to fight Golovkin or Canelo or just any good fights at 160. But also him at the end of the day, man, he needs to put in more work in boxing because the best name on his resume is Austin Trout. I thought a fight I thought he lost, and after that is Kenan Bundridge. Yeah, you can't come tell me about J. Rock Williams being a great name on his resume. That guy ain't never been a champion. That guy was a mandatory. Kenan Bundridge has twice at light middleweight. You know what I mean? So in all honesty, you know what I'm saying? Kenan Budridge is the most accomplished fighter that Jamal Charlo, the guy 160, interim WBC champ, has fought. You know what I mean? Okay, so Mr. Doc says, heck, I'd be intrigued by Spence versus Lera even. Yeah, I would too, but I think the man got to go for the gusto because his fans have claimed the man is a monster. You know what I'm saying? Some of them who are dissing Terrence Crawford less than 10 days ago to big up Spence, and they make up lies to, some guys even tried to say, from that organization that, that got the acronym, the Lions Den, some of they members actually were trying to say that Terrence Bud Crawford is dissing them. You know, it's like and these guys are Errol Spence fans, and some of these same Errol Spence fans, they big Jamel Charlo fans, and they shit on Hurd. They shit on Hurd, the man who has two belts. You know what I'm saying? These are the same people who also say that Deontay Wilder is A side over Anthony Joshua when Anthony Joshua has three belts. I'm a Wilder fan. I hope Wilder wins that fight, and I hope he gets the fight with Anthony Joshua. But there's no way on this planet that the man Wilder is the A side. So these same fans also claim that the man, they were trying to say that the man Terrence Bud Crawford is dissing him. He's dissing him on videos. That's how far they reaching to lie to the public. The motherfucker Terrence Crawford ain't thinking about y'all niggas, man. Are you kidding me, man? Come on, dogs. Like fellas really think they somebody because they might have some people who subscribe to him on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers making 10 videos a day. I know y'all fellas ain't got no jobs. If you making 10 videos in a day, man, I would like to if I could. But there's only 24 hours in the day and I gotta sleep for at least six. You know what I'm saying? I might even take an afternoon nap if I made some paper for the day. You know what I'm saying? If I've been on my hustle and bustle and fuck around, lay on the couch, and I might take an hour nap before I fix me some dinner or something. You know what I mean? But that's how ego inflated some of these people are to even suggest. Just like that barbershop guy. Big ups to my man, what is it? Counterculture Media. Big up my man G. What's up with you, dogs? That's a dude I know in real life. You know what I mean? He got his channel. Go subscribe to his channel out here. You know what I mean? He flamed up barbershop conversations. Man called him the what do you call it? What do you call it? Hair salon conversations. Because that guy actually thinks that Terrence Bud Crawford gives a fuck about him. These guys have said that, Terrence Bud Crawford don't talk to black media, but he talks to white media. So fucking what? He ain't obligated to talk to nobody. Stop reaching, man. Y'all fellas be dissing these boxers over here, talking shit and making up stuff, but when you see him, you probably bow down. You know what I'm saying? Fellas probably gonna bow down and probably want an autograph and try to flick it up. You know what I'm saying? Have the picture as a screensaver, or they add you for their YouTube page. You know what I mean? So fellas be killing me, man. Talking about they'll do this, that, and the third. Niggas is really, these people really mad. Talking about Bud Crawford. They not supporting him no more because he doesn't talk to black media. He only talks to white media. And now they saying Terrence Crawford is dissing him in videos. Fellas are deluded. That's why I don't get into these Errol Spence, Terrence Crawford, Anthony Joshua Wilder bullshit, man. How I'm gonna be talking about a fight that ain't even close to being made. What I like doing over here, I like talking about breakdowns and predictions, man. You know what I'm saying? Or fights that's about to happen. I'm not putting in no energy talking about fights that ain't even close. I'm gonna keep we in what are we in October of 2018. I'm gonna keep trying to talk about a fight that Errol Spence said he wants to see happen in the late 2019. AJ talking about he wants to fight Wilder in 2020. Fuck that. I ain't got time for that. I'm gonna talk about shit that's happening right now. You know what I mean? Yeah. So let me see what fella's saying in the chat. Fox Strike says Spence would win for from Lara running away too much once Spence starts targeting his body. Well, Lara didn't run away from Hurd, and Hurd's a much bigger fighter. I don't think the man gonna be running. He'll box. He'll box. Use his lateral movement, and that's what he didn't do against Hurd, and that's why he got beat up. He got beat up. Mike D says K9, three-time world champ. K9's a three-time world champ. Okay. Mr. Doc says maybe Spence is awfully slow in the pivots though. He don't throw the kind of awkward shots Hurd does. Much more textbook. I agree with you on that, man. He's more of a come forward, straight up A and B line type of fighter. You know what I mean? That's the kind of fighter he is. Errol Spence, come forward, just coming forward in straight lines. You know what I mean? What he does it well. You know what I'm saying? Um, but a guy like Errol Spence, you know what I'm saying? I'd like to see him fight guys like Hurd. That'll be a beautiful fight, you know what I mean? I'd like to see him fight Jamal Charlo. Fuck it, even take the weakest link over there. Take the man, what's his name? Jaime Munguia. You know what I mean? Jaime Munguia is a champion, right? You check it, so why not? Why not? I wouldn't mind seeing that at all, you know what I mean? That would actually be a barn burner too. You check it, you know what I'm saying? Hey man, I think the man K9 Bundridge, last I remembered, he was only a two-time champion. I could be mistaken. I remember he beat Corey Spinks and he beat what's his name? Carlos Molina. That was the only time he been a champion. And he lost to Ishe Smith, and Ishe Smith lost to Carlos Molina. That's how he got his title back. That's why I said two-time champ. From what I recall, he had two-time champ, not three-time. But anyways, Fox Strikes Fred from BC. Yeah. Fox Strike says, have they already began making vids back in Wilder's claim of 60-40 is legit? I wouldn't know. I don't know. I'm not even too familiar with that story of 60-40. I heard Boxing Beats and Rounds talk about it. I really haven't read no publications. I don't really read too many articles about the Wild and what's his name stuff. And when I do make a video about Wild and AJ, it's because I have read articles, you know what I mean? But for the most part, it's just draining. It is. Mike D says they was trying to say Hurd was Ducky Charlo, man. Shit is ridiculous. They did, and they called the man Hurd a Keith Thurman 2.0. They called him Keith Thurman 2.0 when just this was 3 months after he had fought because the man had shoulder surgery. But they didn't say Keith. That's why I made that video. They didn't say Lomachenko is Keith Thurman 2.0 because the man also had a shoulder surgery after the Linares victory, and he wasn't unifying next with Mikey Garcia. They didn't call him no Keith Thurman 2.0. So it's very base. It's basically agenda driven. You know what I'm saying? And some of these guys are from Texas. Some of these guys who got their channels, so they big Texas fans. Everything Texas. We do it big in Texas. Everything's big in Texas. My steak is big in Texas. My burritos are big in Texas. But at the end of the day, Jamel Charlo's looking real small out there in Errol Spence in Texas. We gonna keep it tall and we gonna keep it a buck. They're not really looking that big. So their agenda is to pit any and everybody who's against them Texas fighters or guys who's supposed to fight him and try to call them duckers and cowards and all that. Well, now the script has been flipped, and now Errol Spence, they put his feet to the fire, and son don't want no smoke. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah. Tax. What's up, Tax? He says they only want him to fight Porter or Thurman. They act like that benefits themselves. I agree with you. I agree with you. Like they never mention him moving up to fight anybody at 100. Look, even Kell Brook, man. I've even forgot about Kell Brook. He went up to 160. It was a bad decision. I didn't want that at all for him. I didn't want him to do that because I wanted him to unify with Jesse Vargas. I like unifications. Hey, call me old school, but that's what I like. And that fight was on the table. Kell Brook and them said, fuck that. We're going to fight Gennady Golovkin. Bring him to London. And man got his face, but his eye bashed in. And now his career ain't never been the same ever since that fight. You know what I mean? Um, um, Mr. Doc says, yeah, I'm interested in boxing, not soap operas. Me too. I'm interested in boxing fights on Saturday nights and breakdown and predictions during the week to build up for the fight. Mike D says I could be mistaken. Yeah, man. Last I remember, the man, Kanan Bundridge was a two-time champ. Fox Strike says, Herd Duck and Charlo. That's what they tried to say. Well, the man, Charlo's fighting his leftovers, right? Go look at Charlo's resume. For a guy who's been on Showtime, his guy's been on the scene since at least 2010, 2011, 2012. Go look at this guy's resume. Can't compare it with Jared Hurd. I've been saying it and I'll say it again right now. In a year and a half, Jared Hurd went from a prospect to contender to champion to unified in a year and a half. What the fuck Charlo been doing? Even Lara called out Charlo. The man mute as he's quiet as a church mouse. The Fox Strike says apparently everyone's ducking the Charlo according to them. Yeah, I don't know how. I don't know what they see in Charlo to say people ducking him. Mike D laughing. He laughing at what Fox Strike saying. That's truth and rights what he said. Um, Mike D says Charlo ducking Lara still be their trend. Still be their trend. Let Hurd take the first step. B. Yeah, man. The man Hurd gonna come through. Hurd says he just wants one tune-up fight, and he been said November, December. As of now, I haven't heard yet about any show fights on Showtime besides Adonis Stevenson on December 1st versus Gravesdick and the pay-per-view Deontay Wilder and Fury on December 1st. That's all I've heard. So I don't know when Hurd will get a date, but I'd like to see him get that a fight before 2019 enters, so he could fight Charlo no later than spring of next year. You know what I mean? Um, um, Where we at? Fox Strike says that to Mike D, the so-called. He says to Mike D, he still saying he and Lara friends, and he don't be saying nothing about Lara. But last I remember, that's what he was trying to say. But he be mute. He be quiet about Lara. Mike D says, I heard Lara don't care about friendship. He wants that WBC strap. B, no question, he does. He don't care nothing about friendship. They could shake hands and be friends after the fight. But Lara really wants to fight the man Charlo. I even made a video about that. Check it out in my archives. VVS Lou Stones, what's good, son? He says, morning. What's good with you? Morning. Good morning to you. Top of the morning. VVS Lou Stones says, heard the real deal. Yes, he is. He's a humble guy. I met him once at when I went to see King Darius Irvin fight. You know what I mean? And he's a good guy. His little brother was fighting on the card too. You know what I mean? But Hurd wasn't fighting. He was there to support his little brother. Tax says Lara wants that strap again. He knows he's still better than them all. He's better than everybody at 154 except Hurt. I agree with you 100%. And to me, Lara was the number one guy in the division for years. You know what I mean? But the hungry, younger, bigger guy, and I predicted he would do what he did to Lara, and sure enough, he did. You know what I mean? That wasn't a hard fight to predict. I love Lara. I've never ever ever picked against Arislandi Lara, the American Dream. You know what I mean? But that fight, I couldn't be biased. I just couldn't be wishing the best. I knew the man Hurt is just too big for this guy. You know what I'm saying? And you know, if he's gonna and he's tried to stand and fight in the pocket, which was a great fight. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, Lara did tag up Hurd too. Don't get it twisted. Hurd cut some flush lefts to the face, but he ain't got the pop like Hurd did. If you go look at Lara's face at the end of that fight, man, he got ain't nobody ever do that to him. You know what I mean? All right. He had a kind of hematoma fucking with the man Paul Williams, but that was from like a headbutt or something. Mike D says the cornerman boxing keep me in the know with Hurd besides Google search. I stay waiting on Hurd fights. That's a barn burner no matter who the opponent. Yeah, cornerman boxing. Big ups to them fellas, man. They be coming down here to Maryland and the DC area. They be fucking with the man Hurd, doing a lot of interviews with him and his coach Ernesto, I think he was a former DC or PG County cop. You know what I mean? So big ups to them. Them some good brothers from Philadelphia. You know what I mean? So I fucks with the cornerman boxing. Them some good dudes right there. I listen to all their videos. You know what I mean? Yeah. Um. VVS Lou Stone says I'm hearing Andrade called out Spence. I ain't hear about that one. I don't want to see that neither. No. Mike D says Lara was doing his business, but Hurd was on a mission. Yeah. No question. Hurd was on a mission, man. And a lot of people have picked Hurd to lose all his fights. I ain't never picked against Hurd. Never. He's been against what's the kid from Detroit? Tony Harrison. I watched that fight. I was there watching it on the hangout with fellas. And on my card, he was down 7 rounds to 0. I still had faith though. I still had faith. He won round 8. Bet. Now he's down 7 rounds to 1. That he's fucked about in round 9 and won the fight. Yeah, fellas was kind of stunned on the hangout, straight up. Was good, Chris Caban. How you feeling, man? Chris Caban in the chat. Sorry, Doc, but Hurd took Lara's soul. He did, man. He did, man. That 12th round, man. That 12th round was. We never seen Lara like that, man. I've seen Lara on the canvas fucking with Angulo, sure. But, the man was on his knees, on all fours. Kind of looked deflated, like, yeah. And it was on their way to try to rob the man, Hurd. They had that fight like a split or majority decision, you know what I mean? You check it, Chris Caban, he in the chat. Fox Strike says, I heard one of Canelo's 11 fights will be Andrade. That's what I heard Eddie Hearn say too. I heard that actually yesterday. Mike D's talking to Tack, saying Hurd ain't ducking nothing. What did Tack say? When they told Hurd about possible Lara rematch, Hurd his shoulder over something. Man, Tack, man, that's what we're not gonna do over here, boy. That's what we're not gonna do. That's what we're not gonna do. The man was injured. You know what I'm saying? What we need to see a rematch for that fight, man. That man got beat up. And if it happens again, Tax, I will guarantee you it will be worse. This time, the man Hurd will stop him and put him out his misery, man. I'm not kidding, man. I'm not kidding. I don't want to see the man Lara and Hurd fight again. I had that fight 8 rounds to 4. You know what I mean? I know Mr. Doc saw it closer than that. I think Mr. Doc had him winning. And I've seen some other channels. They said, very few, but they did have Lara winning. But those